High ticket closer and you make less than $15,000 a month, you have zero excuses to why you don't watch this video in full, especially if you clicked on it because you want to get better at high ticket sales. If you're new to the channel, my name is Tristan Steckler. I've been doing high ticket for 4 years now. I've closed millions and I help people just like you take your skill set from where you're at to where you actually want to be. Watch the video in full, take notes, pen and paper, and I promise you if you implement what I teach, you will make more money. Enjoy.
Let the games begin. Brett, can you give me some context?
This is the first of the 2 calls for the low ticket offer. And he is actually a franchise owner for some Hand and Stone massages in Colorado. And he's unhappy with his situation right now. Basically, there's months where he's dipping into his savings because the income isn't providing. There's some franchises that are just not cutting it. So he's got to pay some of his employees first before himself. And some months he's just having to dip into his own wallet to cover his family. So,
okay, cool.
Hey, can you hear me?
you can fast forward a little
you
bit.
dry?
We have some communication. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Okay. Is your phone plugged in? I know the Zoom tends to drain the battery.
Yeah, I'm good to go. And so, yeah, I think my CarPlay picked it up, or I don't know what the audio is, but
Okay.
yeah, so sorry.
How much battery life do you have?
53.
Yeah, are you able to plug it in?
Yeah, it's charging.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So were you able to watch that video?
I was, yes. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, so I know that you just got finished up on my son. Do you still have like 45 minutes, 60 minutes
Yeah.
for this call? All right, cool.
Yep.
All right, so what I've seen work best on these calls is just kind of for starters, getting to know you a little bit better, hearing about your situation, seeing where you are, where you're trying to go, and try to see where that gap is. And I just want to tell you, like, there's some people that we can't necessarily help, even though our content, like we have UFC and we have helped a lot of people. So I hope you can understand there's some people that kind of depends on their situation, whether we can kind of help them. But if I'm confident by the end of the conversation, I feel like it's a good fit, I'll be happy to walk you through with as far as like mentorship, accountability, expectations, things like that. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair.
Cool. So in regards to the video about affiliate marketing, like what is the outcome that you're trying to reach with affiliate marketing? Is it more like time, more money, more freedom, kind of all of the above?
Yeah, not to employ a lazy answer, but I would for sure all the above. Kind of a, I don't know, circuitous career, was a finance accounting major, traveled the world developing hotels and apartments and you name it, and raised my first son via FaceTime. And so I was like, about 4 years ago.
Raised his first son via FaceTime?
Mhm.
So this guy, he's not present with his family, it sounds like. Is that a fair assessment?
Used to be. He's made some changes now, but he's still not where he wants to be.
Good. Well, what can we say about somebody who takes a call in their car?
Yeah, so the second call was in the office. He was actually picking his son up from the airport. That's sort of what we were talking about. His son was coming in from college. So yeah, no freedom.
I'm glad he's making the changes. I'm sure
Mhm.
that's had a big impact on him being a father and missing out on that intimacy with his kids. How many kids does he have?
He has 3, I believe.
Got it.
Closer,
Okay.
similar to me.
Cool. In the moment, did you pick up on what he just said? So that's the most important part.
What did he say again?
Just in regards to him not being present with his
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
Good.
Bought some franchises here in Colorado. They're national. There's kind of a massage and facial spas that the wife runs with our regional manager, and it really sucked me in more time. And I'm missed coaching events. We're either, as we're doing today, somebody's flying there at one spa, et cetera, et cetera. We're just busy, and so I was obviously Instagram takes you down this algorithm of what is you see all the one pop up turns into 5, and it's like I make X amount of money, and it's so easy, steps 1 by 2, and I didn't want to. To a lot of your questions, it's just hard to type out the passion or the conviction in those answers. It's just like how do you don't want to wait.
Okay, so with this guy specifically, there's no word track for this, right? But the first thing that I want to establish is common ground. Like I see how hard he's working. So I would say something like, man, it sounds like you're a really busy guy. So, I mean, worst case scenario, let's just take an hour together to block out the noise and really understand where you're at. That would be what I would say is a leading statement, but then I would want to get into what his goals are specifically,
Mhm.
because he seems like he is all over the place all the time. I would imagine he's the type of guy that the second the alarm goes off in the morning, he's already checking the phone, the notifications, got the list of to-dos. He's got
Yeah.
the family, the kids, busy, this person, that person, very draining, doesn't feel very present. It's always about the next paycheck. It's always about the next opportunity. A lot of these guys, myself included, have that fear that if they're not there in that moment when the phone rings, that they're going to lose out on business and they're not going to be able to sustain it long term. Right. So that typically eats away at this type of person. It does not stop. Fair assessment.
Yes.
Cool.
Waste your time or fall into a gimmick, right? Or
But the main reason I make that statement, Brett, is because I want him to recognize that I'm not a robot salesperson. I actually understand him, which is really important. Like, this guy does not want to be sold. He doesn't want to be put into a sales process. You're going to turn him off if you ask him pre-programmed robotic questions. It won't work because he just wants someone to talk to. He wants someone to vent to. He wants someone who understands what he's going through that can get him out of the situation he finds himself in. Okay. So these conversations are going to be different than some like little kid or some uneducated person who just found an ad off the internet. And I remember from what you mentioned in the first call, he was a bit more honest with you. And then the second call, it was like the facade was on. It was
Definitely.
very business,
Yes.
very guarded, didn't want to be sold. So makes a lot of sense. The only reason that would happen, that change up, is similar to what we talked about regarding just having a one call close process and being able to build that urgency before you get into the pitch. And I know, Colton, you teach a little bit different of a framework of like you have the initial call after they've purchased the low ticket and then they get some information that educates them better on affiliate marketing before a bigger call with a higher price point. And that's fine, but I just don't want to lose that momentum. So any way that we can build more momentum and not lose it and not lose the urgency, that's vitally important for this to work, especially when you're pitching a $19,000 product.
Yeah.
hey, if you pay me X, I'll guarantee. And so it was really just analysis of paralysis of
Another thing that I picked up on so far is he's looked into a lot of things, seen a lot of content on the internet. He's probably seen people be misled and taken advantage of, and he doesn't want that to happen to him. So once again, just more reason to not be a script monkey and have a genuine conversation with him with his best interest in mind, not yours.
where do you go from here?
Yeah, so when you like fall into a gimmick.
Well, there was one. Well, I guess that's a very judgmental description. There was one, drop shipping, and there was then you had a warehouse, and it just felt like a pyramid scheme to me, and I kind of quickly just backed out, and it kind of delayed the research more. So
I love how honest he is with you. So I don't fully understand the amount of content that they see prior to a call with you, but whatever he saw built a certain level of trust where he felt like he could be open with you and not guarded so far. It's great.
Yeah, I think it was a 20-minute video, but before that, it was a conversation in the messenger before we got on the call. He says later on that he got on the call with me because he didn't feel like I was a robot. Like, I'm actually talking with a human.
Good.
What do you mean like a pyramid scheme? I'm not really understanding.
yeah, and I forget. I bet I can try to find the guy whose video I was like, I shared it to myself, but I don't know if you're under his program or, and again, not understanding what drop shipping. I just felt like you're more benefiting him or whatever his product was that he was selling, and you latch your link to his, and it just didn't feel right. So
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that at all. So this is
Okay. Don't be, I call it, like, as rude as this may sound, like it comes across as a little bit autistic of like, no, I'm not familiar with that at all. In his mind, he's going to feel like he's an idiot.
Okay.
He's going to feel like you don't get him. But the truth is, we all do understand what he's talking about. We all have seen the goofy stuff on the internet. We can all relate to the idea that we don't want to be taken advantage of. Right?
Right.
So if you wanted to change it where you can get deeper with him and him not feel judged by you, you would just say, I hear that from time to time. And dude, there's a lot of crazy stuff on the internet. Just so I understand where your perspective is coming from, can you unpack what you've seen?
Got it. That's good.
right? It's like, I want to understand what you've experienced so far. Because there are a lot of people that take advantage of people on the internet. There are a ton of people, especially in this industry, that do not care about their clients whatsoever. It's all for personal gain. It's a cash grab, and then they peace out and you never hear from them again.
Not that. So
Yeah.
just to give you some,
No
so
worries.
yeah, in order to have like,
Because does that build common ground, what you just said, or does that make him feel like he's an idiot and he needs to answer questions a certain way going forward?
Probably builds a gap in between us because he
Yeah.
probably feels like I'm not understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't relate with what he's experienced.
Yeah.
That builds a wall.
Okay.
like that freedom that you're looking for, you would need to have like a monthly income goal. So like, what would you say as far as
Because the thing is, this income question, although it's a good script question, what we've just stepped over is this guy's been looking into different opportunities and he feels like they're scams and that he can't trust them. So if he feels like it's a scam and he can't trust it, why would we talk about how much money he wants to make if he doesn't even believe it's possible?
Hmm.
You see how those two don't connect?
Yeah, I rushed it. Okay.
Yeah. So I would want to get some clarity there around what he's looked into. Does that come from personal experience of this guy joining programs and being mistreated, or is it just speculation?
Hmm.
Right? Because if it's just speculation, then we could use analogies to reframe that perspective. Which analogies would we use to reframe that?
You could use, I'm drawing a blank right now.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Who's got it? So this guy, he's just making his conclusions from speculation. He's got no real experience in it. What's a
Marriage.
simple? Yep.
Go dating.
Marriage. Marriage specifically, because everyone has
Mhm.
bad experiences with dating. But when we look
Mhm.
at marriage in the US,
Marriage.
what's the divorce rate in the US?
50%.
At least what they tell us. It's like
Yes, yeah.
51%.
I believe it.
Right. And I'm sure some of that is like fabricated, but it's true.
Mhm.
But the conclusion that we would draw from there being a 51% divorce rate in the United States is what? Does everyone on this call have someone that they know who's been divorced?
Mhm.
Yeah. So just because they've been divorced, does that mean you'll also be divorced if you get married? No.
No.
So what determines success or failure in marriage?
Commitment.
Yeah. I'm so grounded in this way of thinking, so grounded in it because it's true. Because I was the guy on the sidelines watching everyone else live the life that they wanted to live. I was the guy who put all kinds of limitations on himself of what he could do and what he couldn't do and who he would become and who he couldn't become. I was my own worst enemy for the longest time. And you can sit there and you can blame your parents and you can blame your upbringing, you can blame your environment, or you can take responsibility. Every single business on earth works because of the person running the business, not because of the business. Just like every marriage works because of the person who's committed to their marriage. They make it work, just like every gym works. In 2 days, it'll be January 1st, and we'll have a ton of people in the gym, and they'll all be excited. But what's going to determine whether or not they're successful in their goals? Is it the
Commitment.
equipment?
Mhm.
It's not the gym, is it? It's not that the gym has a better membership, right?
Yeah.
It really is that simple. It really is. That conversation matters way more to this guy than your script. Does everyone on this call understand how important it is to have a real conversation with the person rather than just following the script? There are things that you hit in your process that are vitally important, and it will take time for you to fully know exactly how to navigate the conversations and when to reframe and when to move on. And that takes time, but The last thing that I want you guys to pull from these calls is that I'm trying to teach you to follow a script, or that the script is the most important thing, because it's not. Okay, let's keep going.
As far as income per month, would you want to achieve with like affiliate marketing to give you that more freedom?
Yeah. I'm not really money hungry in regards to like a goal. Like if I make 8 grand.
Why would he say that? Sam?
He wants you to perceive him a certain way. Like I'm not this greedy person that wants to make a lot of money, so I'm going to be a white knight and kind of hide it.
Yeah, that's true. If we go a layer deeper, why do you
Is
think
it-
he said something like that?
He doesn't think it's possible.
That's true. That's what I'm looking for. He doesn't believe it's possible. Okay. So if
Would
he
you-
believed
would-
it,
Would you say to like people, I think sometimes people who say that they have like a social norm they're trying to follow. They're like, oh, I don't want to do that because like if I say that, like my dad or my best friends are got to say like I'm greedy. You know, like
100%.
um,
Yeah, it's so many different things. There's so many different things that we are pre-programmed to believe and respond certain ways and do certain things. But at the end of the day, if he was 100% certain that he could make the money he wanted to make, he would tell you that, Brett. But it just goes hand in hand with what we talked about earlier regarding him not even believing that it was possible. And all the stigmas around people making money on the internet and advertising how much money they make, typically being someone who doesn't care about people and only cares about themselves, which is a category of person that he doesn't want to be known as. Right. What's a good example of this? I think dating is a good example. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. Gavin, did you have something?
Yeah, so when they mention that limiting belief of like the pyramid schemes and whatnot, when you overcome that, do you go right into the goals after that and just like you would start after you overcome that, or where would you get into after that?
When you overcome it, I would try and go into what that belief has cost him in his life. So I would try
Okay.
and get leverage because for this guy, as an example, he's saying that he tried to raise his kid through a phone at some point in his life, which leads me to believe that he's always gone from his family, or at least in the past, he has been very absent with his kids. And that doesn't change. Like you can change your career to Brett's point. Like I'm sure he's made some changes, but that's ego. The type of person who does something like that, I mean, it would take like decades to rewire that way of thinking and acting. And he's still the busy guy, the focused on the next deal or the next venture or the next personal achievement. Because a lot of men who are successful in a particular lane, they just stay in that lane because that lane tells them that they're good enough and it tells them that they have value and it tells them that they're successful. And any area that does not, they don't give their focus or attention to. So for this guy, I would want to get into that way of thinking of all this stuff on the internet as a scam or it doesn't work or people who are in this industry are lying. What has that cost him as a husband, as a father, as a provider, being present with his kids?
Okay, so not talking about like the start of the discovery, any of that.
No, because I need to overcome the fear. If I
Okay.
can't get him to admit that he's willing to change and he's not going to hold on to that way of thinking, then I can't move into his goals because his goals won't happen if he's still fearful and he doesn't trust it.
Okay, but you do eventually get into the goals though, later, 15 minutes, 20
Yes.
minutes, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I
Got
will.
it.
Lance?
And even just like bringing up like what type of results would he continue to have if he holds on to that belief? Is that something to bring up as
Yeah.
well too? So it's
Totally.
like
All
unless we
those-
make that change.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
That's exactly correct.
And the goal is 12. I'm not driven by money. Yes, it's nice.
No, I hear you, but in
Actually-
order to have that freedom, like, you got to be, doing something else to make money so you can have that freedom.
Do you see how you're telling him Brett? So I would just be dumb, be like, wait, how do you mean you're not motivated by money? Can you help me understand what you mean by that? Or is there a reason that you say that? Because that's not true, right? He's only saying that because he fears that you'll judge him if he tells you that he wants to make more income. Right?
Mhm.
I was like, what would that dollar be for you?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that 10 to 12 would be more than enough.
Okay.
Like
All right.
so I would say a solid cushion.
All right. We'll say like 11K, just kind of like an even number, like odd number,
Like,
right in the middle. Okay.
yeah.
All right. And so you guys have a business. Is that your income right now with the business model, or do you have like a regular?
Well, he mentioned that it would be a solid cushion for him. So I would ask, when you mentioned solid cushion, can you unpack that for me? What do you mean? And then I would get some clarity around where is he at right now, as well as like what is driving him to make money online now? Because what has he done in the past? He mentioned like some random ventures, but what does he do right now, Brett, full time?
Mainly just the franchises. The Hand and Stone franchises is what he's doing. He's got like 5 of those in Colorado.
Got it.
Regular 9 to 5?
Nope. That's our income, those spas.
Gotcha. How much are you guys bringing in right now a month after taxes?
That's what's hard. I don't know if it's the economy here. Our salaries or our ownership dividends, if you will, was right around like I think 180. And there's probably 4 or 5 months of this year of the annual 2025 where we weren't paying ourselves. But the goal was 180 combined.
A year?
Yeah.
What, like on average,
So-
like now, what would be like a good month for you, monthly amount after taxes? Take
Yeah,
home.
so probably 9. So net would probably be 8.2, 8.3.
All right, between the two of you. So okay,
That's correct. Yep.
like what about on like a bad month? What does that look like?
Zero. It's either that net number or we don't pay ourselves to cover rent or to cover payroll for our staff. So
What do you guys do when that happens on a bad month?
Yeah, dip into savings, which is not fun.
Yeah.
So
How long has that been kind of fluctuation going on for?
yeah, I don't know what
Good job, Brett. Good questions.
this year. So we bought one. So 2022 this year. I'd probably say this year it's really like where we've actually had to do that. Had to make we sacrifice our funds to pay everyone else. So
Mhm.
and this is December. So yeah, I think it's happened 5 times this year.
Wow.
Okay. What kind of situation has that like put you guys in where you're having to not pay yourself and to worry about getting the payroll in?
Yes, I mean stressful, right? Your gunpowder in your savings that you worked so hard to achieve, and
Yeah.
retirement, blah blah blah. Yeah, very stressful. Very stressful.
Like how's that affecting you? What areas in your life is it
Good job, dude. Good questions.
what's stress affecting you guys?
Oh, okay.
One thing that I notice is in these more uncomfortable questions, you're not looking at him. Your eyes will dart off and kind of look down. So that's something you want to lean into because you're the leader. And this guy, even though he's not looking at you, if he was, he would see that. Okay, it's really important that if you're going to ask a question like that, like what kind of impact is that having on you that you're looking him in the eyes, or at least in your Zoom camera?
Good feedback. Thanks.
I'm really challenged.
Lance?
I know you mentioned in the past, like, yeah, asking has it impact you or has that affect you? Would you even go, because I know you've brought up like how does that sit with you?
Yeah.
So even asking him like how has that been like, or how does that sit with you, like that situation, or where would the impact, kind of the impact question, be better?
What is that doing to you? What is that doing to you on a daily basis? Like, where does that show up? Like, I just want to understand. I don't even need it
Yeah.
for like emotional manipulation purposes. Like, I really want to understand what this is doing to this guy as a husband and as a father. Because what he just said was 5 months in this year, he's dipped into his own personal savings and his wife's savings to pay company expenses and hasn't profited anything. Right?
Mhm.
Like, imagine you were going through that as a husband, as a father. You think anyone has ever asked him how he's doing? Probably
shot.
not. Probably not. Maybe his wife, but his wife is so underwater, just like him. I mean, it's like the blind leading the blind.
Right.
Challenge myself right now. I never doubt God, but question him. But
Okay, so this makes sense. So this guy is a believer, so that's why he's saying the whole like I'm not money driven. It's just such a stigma in the Christian space.
would say faith driven for me, and then the confidence of being able to lead as a godly man to my wife and to my kids. It just takes a stress.
Makes perfect sense.
Right? You're quote unquote the provider, or not quote unquote. You are the
provider.
yeah, you're exactly right. You're commanded to be the provider, and it's just a massive, massive, massive confidence hit.
Yeah.
Man, dude, such good ammo. Such good ammo. So what's the best question from here? What he just said was, I'm the provider for my family, and I'm taking a massive confidence hit because every month we're going into the negative. I'm not profiting. I can't provide. We're going into savings.
How does that affect your wife? Or what kind of impact has that had on your wife?
A confidence hit? How do you mean? Or like pretend I'm a fly on the wall. What goes on a day-to-day basis for you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this where you envision you would be?
There's a that verse in the Bible that says like if you're not providing for your household, it's like you're worse than an unbeliever.
You're worse than a non-believer. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've
Yeah.
stayed up.
So that like
nights.
it sounds like you really take that responsibility really like in high.
Why are you saying that, Brett? You're muted.
I was trying to weave
Put him in a
in.
box.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's always that. It's good that you see it, but it's
Mhm.
always that. It's like, oh, it sounds like you're really taking this seriously, and you take
Mhm.
responsibility, and it sounds like you have a American Express credit card, and it sounds like you've got money in the bank to pay for this. So that doesn't work.
Mhm.
It'll never work. So I would rather him tell me. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
If you wanted to, you could say something like this. It sounds like you've thought a lot about your situation and where you're at. Like when you look at the life that you've created and where you're at as a husband, as a father, like what comes up for you? Does what you see align with the vision that you have for yourself and for your family? Are you where you expected you would be with all the hard work you've put into this? Is this what they deserve? What do those conversations look like between you and her? And this once again gives us leverage into like how have we allowed it to get to this point? What's got in the way of us seeking out the help that we so desperately need? Is there any reason it's taken this long? Those types of questions. Because the thing that's in the way is his fear. Fear that the step he's going to take isn't going to get him what he wants. If I don't overcome that, then I can't help him.
Regard to be the provider and to be the one who is make sure everything is taken care of.
For sure, without sacrifice or without question.
Yeah. So with everything that you're making, like,
you see how you didn't get anything
I
out of
move
that?
on. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much there that we just stepped over.
Right.
is it enough?
Yeah, I mean, outside of our mortgage, we've been pretty smart. We don't live a lavish life. Paying our oldest and first through college. We have extra a month. Let's assume we pay ourselves, have an extra per month. We don't carry a lot of debts. We're not in a desperation standpoint, right, where it's living above our means. But yeah, it's just from a mental standpoint, confidence standpoint, and financial, it adds up. So
yeah, but at the same time, when you're not being able to pay yourself and to kind of have that negative where you're like, is that enough then?
yeah, no, it's
causing stress. And how many kids do you have?
We have 3 boys, so yeah, 3 boys.
I have 3 boys also. Yeah,
Nice.
17, 13, and 10. Well, yeah.
Nice. We're right there. Yeah, 18, 11, 7. So.
Yeah, our oldest is starting college next year. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're right there, man.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I'm sorry.
Go for it. You.
And I think my sales pitch for me,
well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this for you, Brett. Like when we want to have more empathy with this guy. Because for you, being a business owner, being a caretaker with your wife, you having 3 kids, your business not being where you want it to be, what kind of impact is that having on you?
Huge.
Go deeper.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
You know, just not being able to do the vacations that I want. Sports, just birthdays coming up. A lot.
If I really wanted to, we would spend the whole rest of this call and I'd tear you up respectfully.
Mhm.
But that's what it takes. Like, the fact that you can't just lay it all out there is why on this call you'll struggle. Because he's not looking for another business coach.
Mhm.
He's not. No one is. We're not relatable with these people. Because I know when I have kids, I know how desperately I want to be with them and I want to provide the life for them that I never had. It's one of my main drivers and why I work so hard and why I care so much about results and reputation. And I know for a fact that those thoughts that you have, they don't stop. They show up all the time, all day, every day. When you look in the mirror,
Stress.
when you
Yeah.
wake up, when your head hits the pillow. Right? So be real with these people.
Yeah.
You fully understand what this guy's going through. Yet we're talking about BS.
Mm.
Right? Because no one's laughing whenever you have to tell your kids that the birthday is going to have to be small this year or the vacation is just not going to happen this year. No one's laughing. And if I didn't care about you, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. So the same attention that I'm giving you right now is the exact same attention you need to give this guy right now. Because the script doesn't do anything for this guy. We're all human beings. Sometimes we get way too systematic with this process and you forget the fact that you're talking to another dad who's just not getting it done for his family and is dying on the inside. He doesn't want to be working all these hours. He wants to be with his family. He can't do that. He's in his own way. He's fearful, just like we all are. Why would we not make that the sole focus of the conversation? Because that's the only thing that matters. It's important that we reflect more, because your ability to reflect and deal with the issues is what gives you a lot of leverage with these people to have the same conversation. Because the reason you wouldn't elaborate is because you don't like the answer you have to give.
I was just talking with Zach yesterday about like a lot of people that he was talking to are older and possibly more life experiences. You know, it's those life experiences that help us to be in a place where we can be more empathetic with our prospects. And I think that one thing that I need to do is just peel back the curtain a little bit more. Me, about what I've dealt with, what I've overcome, you know.
You want to know what would have done a lot for this guy is tactful vulnerability. Because for some of us on this call, this is two-sided. Some of us on this call are not where we want to be. Financially, skill-wise, business-wise, goals-wise, all those things. And that's okay. You're in the right place. But sometimes it can be hard to have these conversations with these people and talk about their own top of the mountain and what they want and what they desire and what life looks like once they get there, if we haven't achieved that ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the tough thing is you may bring up things that are very recent that you've dealt with, and you'll feel like a fraud or you'll feel like a hypocrite. But it's vitally important that you have these conversations with yourself and with these people and with your family and with your kids. Because these things that are in the dark that nobody actually sheds light on, they just stay in the dark. Nothing will change. You'll be in the same position, but the tactful vulnerability is I've sat down with my kids weeks ago, months ago, years ago, whatever it is, and I've had these exact same conversations. Like when he says that he's raised a son off an iPhone, like how many people do you think he's told that to?
Mm.
Like when I was selling fitness and working with fitness clients and teaching people about weight loss, and I've lost 110 pounds, if you don't think for 1 second that I wasn't referencing my own story all the time on these calls, talking about being bullied and humiliated and made fun of and embarrassed, no attention from women ever, addicted to pornography, stuffing my face with food all day, every day to run away from all the pain. And I tell a super vulnerable story with someone like that on one of these calls. And then I ask, what does that look like in your life? And the entire time, the 15 minutes that I'm sharing the story, they're just nodding their head. Some of them are crying. The framework can't do that.
Mhm.
We're all human beings, dude. Life is hard. And you're going to go with someone that you trust. He hasn't trusted anybody. He doesn't trust himself. You have to be that person to empower him. That's why it's so much more than just a script. So much more than just a pitch. Because this guy is just scared. He needs help. So help him. Lance.
Yeah, and a good way that Joel put it one time, Brett, is that these people that we're speaking to, just envision that it's like one of your best friends coming to you for help. Like, what would you be telling them? And just having that good personal relationship conversation instead of thinking like, oh, this is just another prospect looking that I can make some money off of, but just really coming at it from that heart posture of how can I genuinely help this person, and just having that more in-depth conversation because you're looking at it more as a friend or a brother or what have you.
Yeah. And that's what they're looking for at the end of the day.
I have a bad, I don't know, good or bad, right? It's if I believe in something, I'm all in. The biggest, again, it's hard to.
If I believe in something, then I'm all in. If I would have got context from this guy that this is not the life that he promised his family and that he's missing out on all this time with his kids, I would immediately leverage that as, are you not all in on providing the life that you promised your kids that you would? Or I would just call it out. Like when we say that we're all in on something when we believe in it, you believe in your family. You believe in doing everything that you promised them that you would, especially your wife. When you got down on one knee and you put that ring on her finger, you told her you would give her the world, didn't you?
Dang.
Did you believe that when you said that? Yes. Yet here we are. We've raised one of our kids off an iPhone. We're not present with our family. You're driving right now. Like, how much longer can we settle for this? Because that mentality of I just can't trust this stuff on the internet. I don't know if it's legit. Like, where does that lead to? No future pace, no consequence, no pitch. And you can just sit because he's telling you all the information that you need. Does everyone see that? Does it make more sense now, Brett?
Yeah. Give more context, relate more,
Yeah.
be more vulnerable.
Yeah. The only reason we're not vulnerable is because we don't like the answers we have to give, and we haven't done the work to overcome the situations that we're in. we're still stuck in it. We feel like a hypocrite. I can't talk to you about how bad it is to be addicted to pornography if I'm still addicted to pornography. It's embarrassing. And it's the same thing here. The reason you're not going there is because you feel like a fraud. If you don't go there, you'll always be a fraud. Because you're confident you can help him, right?
Yeah.
Me too. So that's where this whole I believed in myself before anyone else did mentality comes in. Because when I paid $6,000 and liquidated my bank account, I didn't know any of this stuff was going to happen. It was 4.5 years ago. That guy on that call didn't say, hey, by the way, we have all these guarantees and this is where you'll be. This is everything you'll accomplish. That's not how life works. So the mentality is not, by paying me, I can guarantee you that you get everything that you want in your life. No one ever told me that. No one will ever tell you that. That's not how life works. But when you look at your life and what you've created based on your decisions, if you look at it and you hate what you see, what's the worst thing that can happen? That's why I say, when people sit on their deathbed, the most common regret is that they didn't take more risks. They didn't say yes to more things. They played it comfortable. They were complacent. They made a bunch of excuses. Only got one life.
Make it count.
Yeah. And it's not even just these prospects we're talking to ourselves.
Answer some of your questions of like, well, why haven't you done it? I'm very bad at just jumping in one foot and be like, not for me, I'm out, and then let's go to the next, right? I'm not hot or cold. It's if I believe in something, I am on it. I think God has blessed me with the ability to operate on 4 hours of sleep, and so to me, it was like, how do I, outside of my time with Him, like, how do I be productive? How can I use this time, this energy for something else that's not waiting for these spas to open, right? So
How do you get that belief? Like, how do you feel that? What is that thing that say, oh yeah, I believe this is it, so therefore I'm gonna jump in?
yeah, I think great question. For me, it's I don't want to say like, it's going to challenge me as I'm solving, a world issue or anything, but if it feels good to me ethically, morally, religiously, right, and it provides a challenge where it's not mundane, where I don't feel like I'm just typing or hitting buttons or building a widget, if you will, which I didn't, start filling that with hotels. But I would say the constant changes, variety, and it gives me a goal. If there's the goal is 11, but hey, if you do X, Y, and Z, and we believe in it, we can get you to whatever, 15, then I will do what we can to get to 15.
So you make decisions based on your feelings?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say feelings, but yeah, I think the two big things I said was morally and ethically, right?
Yeah.
First and foremost, and then third would be, right, does it align with my,
How do we know? I know, like,
confidence?
it's like we have the devil versus angel. We always have those two voices,
For sure.
constantly talking to us. So
Yeah.
like, how do you know which voice to believe? Because it could be like, it could be like a lie, right? A lot of times people go off their feelings, but what they're actually feeling is a lie, is they're believing a lie because,
Yeah, I've made that mistake and can give you my testimony and saying I'll make a couple $1 million a year building this hotel, and I did it all very selfishly and purposely towards myself. I never put God first. So I think my voice is to listen to, and again, is to stop and pray and ask for guidance. Is if this is where He wants me. If I wake up every day, does this benefit Him and His kingdom and myself? And I think trusting that confidence that you're not just listening to the devil or to somebody's opinion on your shoulder that's telling you yes, right?
Yeah. So when you were building the hotels, like, is that a belief that you had that you were, doing the right thing at the time? Like, were your feelings like telling you that was what you should?
Sam,
Is that untrue? Like, is that cope, do you think? Because like I would obviously want to tread lightly, but in this scenario, but like, like my thing is like, okay, well, that clearly hasn't gotten you to where you want to get to. So is that
right.
mentality of you thinking that like holding you back from where you want to go?
Well, what's missing, in my opinion, is we don't have adequate leverage.
Yeah.
We don't, in
Yeah.
the sense that I don't know what kind of impact this is having on his family. He just
Mhm.
gave very fluffy answers. He didn't go deep because he's afraid of what you'll think of him by going deep. But if he would have told me that he misses out on his time with his kids, he's working all the time, he's not even profitable multiple months out of the year, and it's eroding his marriage, then I would just use this,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he says, he when he believes in something, he fully commits to it, and it's all about honoring God. I'm like, is the life that you've created honoring God?
Yeah, like
Yes or
that's
no?
exactly where my mind went. I'm like that doesn't sound like it like it's an incongruence at the end of the day. But I think but the leverage is why you can't. Okay, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, he couldn't say that because this guy hasn't given that information. And
Mm-hmm.
if Brett makes one misstep, this guy would immediately correct him and get all
Yeah.
ego and prideful.
Close off. Yeah.
No, no,
Gotcha.
I am a good father. No, I do provide for my kids. That's what he would say because this
Yeah.
guy hasn't told us out of his own mouth.
Yeah.
Feels unsafe. Anyone who's ever felt unsafe, you start defending yourself and your voice gets louder and you start sweating and you're all agitated. You're trying to control the narrative of how people view you. It's a reaction,
Mm-hmm.
but it only comes because you're not getting those answers out of the person. You're trying to shove them in a box that you feel comfortable with.
Yep.
Because you got some pieces here and there, but he hasn't given you the full story.
Mhm.
So
Hey,
get the full
Tristan,
story so his ego can't keep going.
question on that, Tristan,
Yep.
and so if we're new to this whole frame of kind of tactfully getting them to be uncomfortably vulnerable, and in our inexperience, besides tonality and genuinely caring, if we overstep and offend them or make them uncomfortable, I know I kind of asked this last week. Do we apologize for the offense, or do we like how do we recover from
Just
it and try to
clarify.
re-engage back?
What did you hear me say? Or what thoughts are going through your mind based on the conversation I'm having with you right now? Like what's even coming up? It's really important that you're grounded because these conversations are uncomfortable, right? Like your heart will start to beat. You're a human. Like fight or flight will kick in, it's fine. But through reps of doing it over and over and over again, when someone like porcupines and they get all agitated, I'm like, dude, time out. Like, what are you hearing me say right now? Well, yeah, you said this and this and that. Okay. Can I explain? Like, can I shed some light as to why I'm asking these questions? You see, you hear my tone, it's very like calm down. I'm not trying to offend you. That's not my heart posture. That's why I'll ask, like, do you feel like I'm on your team or do you feel like I'm not on your team? Okay, you don't feel like I'm on your team. Help me understand what's coming up. It's a constant game,
Okay.
but they'll get agitated in their own brain. Many of you will relate to this. This has came up so many times for me outside of just sales and business and making money. It's this thought of, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. When someone says something about you, even if it's true, your immediate thought is, got to defend myself. It's all on me. He shouldn't say that. I do work hard. And you'll start referencing all these things that you have achieved in your own life to back yourself. And that's how these people feel. Like in relationships, I mean, even with my wife, not to go too deep into it, but it's like, I make mistakes because I'm a human being. I say things I shouldn't say. Right. And when it's brought up, sometimes I feel attacked. I'm like, well, look at all these other things that I do great. And I start defending myself. And that's exactly what these people do on these calls. How dare you say that? Look at all these things that I've done. It's all pride. It's all ego. It's all, no, I'm not XYZ. I'm this. But
I saw
through
that, Kyle, on
asking
the second call.
the right questions, they'll just lay it all out there for you. That's why it's so important to listen. You have to listen. Because when they said it, then it's okay to use what they said. But if they didn't say it, You can't just try and shove them into a box. It's not going to work because they don't know you. That's why when one of your really good friends comes up to you and they point out a blind spot, even if it is like intrusive and it is embarrassing, you're like, yeah, you're right. Or I can see how you would feel that way because there's trust there already. But if you ever went to like a family gathering, like maybe you just started dating a girl and you show up at family Thanksgiving and someone you don't know says something about you that's true, but it makes you feel insecure, you start to hate that guy. That's where that comes from. It's the exact same mentality on these calls. You don't know me. How dare you say that? I've done all these things. The more you know about yourself, the more you understand yourself and what triggers you have and your own life experience, like we're talking about on this call, Brett, the more you can empathize. You know what it's like to be in that position. They're not as scary as they're presenting themselves to be. They're just a human being. Does that help, Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have been doing or
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Right. It's you're traveling the world, meeting who's who, and you. I think I fell in the trap. I wasn't doing anything wrong. It was just I sacrificed my family time. Right. I sacrificed being home. I sacrificed first birthdays to put on this facade. No one's facade, but I was providing for the family, making a lot.
Do you hear what's the mentality behind what he's saying? Someone other than Brett. How does this guy view himself?
Facade.
Successful.
Like he's
Yes.
done enough.
Yeah. Does he view himself as lazy?
No,
Not at all.
no.
So you can't put him in the box of why haven't you done more, guy? That wouldn't work. Because everyone who's on this call, who's training, going through the curriculum, role playing, practicing, doing everything in their power to find a way to make it work, even if you're not seeing the fruit of it, I couldn't come to you and be like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you not doing more? That wouldn't work. Like, think through in your brain what would come up in that moment. If I was like, Luke, why are you not doing more? You suck. Like, what thoughts would go through your mind? It's the same thing for these people. So I need to understand what's going on. But if Luke unmutes himself and starts telling me that he's been procrastinating and making excuses and he's not going through the curriculum, he's not role playing, he's not training, he tells me out of his own mouth, then I could say, what are you doing? Right? It's basic psychology. So stop trying to shove them into a box that they don't belong in. That doesn't work.
What's another question that you can ask that's going to get them to tell you what you need to get them to say without trying to put them in that box for somebody like him? Because, you know, sometimes we do get business owners or people that have tried things. So, you know, like you're saying, asking like, why haven't you done more? It doesn't necessarily fit in that case. So what kind of question would you ask?
It's similar to the feedback that I've been given about his family situation. I need more context into how bad his situation is for me to get leverage as to, well, what's kept us in this position so long? Or what do you feel has prevented us from actually taking that step with how bad everything is right now? How do we let it get to this point? Those types of questions. But if I don't fully understand how bad it is, and this guy keeps, because he kept saying, like, we're doing well, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're dipping into savings, but he's not being real. You're not talking to the actual guy. He's still got a guard up. He wants to be viewed a certain way. So that question of why haven't you done more wouldn't work. He hasn't given us enough context. I only have a minute. But the main thing feedback-wise for this call is sit and be patient. Listen to what they're telling you and unpack it. Unpack it. Super important. Helpful? All right. This one will go on YouTube. Y'all have an amazing rest of your day. I'm here for you. Light it up in Discord. Proud of you guys. Let's have an amazing 2026.
Thanks, everybody.
Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Great day, guys.
So guys.
Later.